Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimiraندھस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यम्। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So certainly my honor and privilege to be back here at the lotus feet of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to serve all of you this evening in continuation from last night on the series of discussions on the moonbeams of mercy. This is a 6-part seminar on the life of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Does anyone remember? Whom did we discuss last night? Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. We discussed about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's life last night. And at great depth, we saw how Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to speak about Srimad Bhagavatam and to assist Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan. As we all know, to reiterate what we spoke last night, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come here in this world in the age of Kali, to taste the mood, the loving devotional sentiments of Srimati Radharani, manifested his pastimes for 48 earthly years. And in the first 24 years, that's the first 50%, the first half of his life, he manifested a very scholastic personality, a scholarly personality. He was meeting and defeating and debating with very learned scholars and philosophers. But at the age of 24, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at Katwa from Keshav Bharati Maharaj. And for the next 6 years, from the age of 24 to the age of 30, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued traveling. He went to many places, including South India. And then from the age of 30 to the age of 48, that is 18 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu settled down in Sri Jagannath Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come in this world, according to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, for 2 main purposes. He has come in this world for tasting the fruit of love of God, of Srimati Radharani's love, to be specific. And he has also come to share this love with the fallen Kali Yuga rejects, so to speak. Prema rasa niryas korite aswadan, rag marg bhakti loke korite pracharan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to taste the mango fruit of Radha Bhav, Madanakhya Mahabhav. Krishna Chandra of Vrindavan has taken the mood of Radharani and naturally has also taken the bodily complexion of Radharani and has become golden in heart and golden in complexion, but this is the bluish black Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami very beautifully describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Antar Krishna Bahir Gaura, that he is Krishna within, but externally he appears golden. So the word Krishna, apart from meaning the all-attractive one, in the context of colors refers to black color. So Antar Krishna Bahir Gaura. He is not just all attractive within, he is also black within. In the sense that Krishna avatar is very crooked. But golden avatar, Gaur avatar is very straightforward. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, in a book called Embankment of Separation, very beautifully makes this point. He says, when the mango is unripe, it looks green. When the mango is spoiled, it looks black. And when the mango is completely ripened and juicy and nectarian, it's golden. And he says, therefore, similarly, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not completely ripened in all mellows, he is greenish in Treta Yuga, as Sri Ram. And when he goes completely crooked and mischievous and frivolous and naughty, he becomes Sri Krishna, or he manifests as Sri Krishna, the eternal form in Dwapar. And when he's completely surcharged with devotional ecstasy and the mango fruit of devotion has ripened, he takes a golden form as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to taste this fruit and at the same time share this fruit. But this fruit of divine ecstatic love is so tasty that in the attempt of tasting it, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgot to share it. So 18 years he just spent tasting the fruit. And to assist him in his tasting, Radharani appeared as a co-passenger, as Gadadhar Pandit. So Krishna had given the written test and had a learner's permit. And he was sitting with another experienced driver, that is Radharani herself, because this was the first time Krishna Chandra had decided, let's say, to take the mood of Radharani. So he was inexperienced in driving the car of bhakti. Because Krishna is Vishay Vigraha. He is the object, he is the target, he is the goal of our bhakti. But Radharani is Ashray Vigraha. She is the shelter of love. If Krishna is the dartboard, Radharani is the one who's throwing the dart of divine love on the dartboard. So it is one Supreme Godhead who takes two forms, as being the shelter of divine love and as being the object of divine love. But when the object of divine love wants to switch roles and still remain the object of divine love, and yet at the same time also become the shelter of divine love, and through the dart of divine love, being the shelter of divine love, throwing the dart of divine love at the object of divine love, that is himself, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Did you understand? It's pretty complex. It's pretty complex. So Srila Raghunath Maharaj says it very beautifully. He says, Godhead, when one becomes two, and two becomes one, and that one becomes five, that is Chaitanya Leela. He says this is spiritual mathematics. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was assisted by Gadadhar Pandit in tasting divine love, because Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani herself. And as far as assistance for sharing this love is concerned, Nityananda Prabhu appeared. So we have Advaita Acharya who invites them. We have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who accepts the invitation and comes. And then we have Gadadhar Pandit assisting in the tasting. Then we have Nityananda Prabhu who assists in the sharing. And then one example of this fructification is Srivas Pandit. This is Panchatattva. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to do much more. He wanted to conquer the world by distributing divine ecstatic love. So that moon, Gaurachandra Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, extended his moon beams in the form of the 6 Goswamis. If not for the 6 Goswamis, we would have never accessed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Rupa Goswami very briefly, to Sripad Sanatan Goswami very briefly, to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami very briefly, to Gopal Bhatta Goswami very briefly. But whatever they could catch from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to pen it down and to explain it profusely with scriptural injunctions and evidences, with examples and practical application, this relation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and teachings and our present life, this connection, this bridge was built by the six Goswamis. All the literature composed by the six Goswamis make it easier for us to understand the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ultimately to understand the pastimes of Radha Krishna. If not for Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, if not for books like Brihad Bhagavatamrita, if not for books like Hari Bhakti Vilas, if not for books like the Shat Sandarbhas, if not for books like Mukta Charita, Dan Keli Kaumudi, Dan Keli Chintamani, Ujjvala Neelamani, Vilapa Kusumanjali, if not for these books, who can fathom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart is erupting in volcanic ecstatic love, and only someone who can understand that volcano can explain it to someone who doesn't even know what the V is of the volcano. So we have no experience of ecstatic love, at least for myself. It is like some ant who's busy chewing neem leaves. That ant wants to know the taste of mango pulp. He has no experience of mango. He's never even seen a mango. He's just busy chewing neem leaves. That is all of us. We are chewing the neem leaves of material life. And to us, the mango fruit of pure love of Vrindavan is very lofty. But isn't it very fascinating that when ants are on the floor and they want to taste the mango on top of the branch, you somehow find a parrot which comes and puts its beak there, makes a hole in that mango, as a result of which there are drops of mango pulp and mango juice which start dripping down the tree. And it's carried from one ant to another, to another, to another, to another, and to another. And the ants which are on the floor, which are not even capable and eligible to even climb the tree, can now access the mango drop while being on the floor, that from the fruit which is very lofty. Meaning to say, this Srimad Bhagavatam or Prema Bhakti is like that lofty mango on top of the tree of Vedic wisdom. The parrot called Shukadev Goswami puts his beak in, and slowly the mango drops, the Amra Rasa starts dripping down the tree trunk of disciplic succession, where one ant takes that drop and takes it to the other end, from guru to disciple. And those Kali Yuga ants which are on the floor like us can now access the juice of that mango while being here, because of this connection. So therefore, how much can we speak and express our gratitude and appreciation for the six Goswamis and all Acharyas in our line? They have done so much for us. In fact, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself, while describing the six Goswamis, he says their life, their teachings are like an insurmountable ocean, very deep. And in my work, I am just attempting to present one drop. Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So last night we spoke about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and we bowed down to him last night. And we promised you that we will speak about another Vaishnava Acharya in the six Goswami camp tonight. Any guesses?
Raghunath Das.
Please remember, today is a weekend and we expect a lot of devotees, so we should have, and we all have a lot of time, so should be some Acharya whom we can discuss. Rupa Goswami, okay.
Raghunath Das.
Why is everyone saying Raghunath Das Goswami?
Because Raghu to go together.
So presenting tonight the life sketch of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And this is exactly the logic that I was personally thinking. Raghu Yuga Sri Jiva Gopalaka. Srinivas Acharya himself, while writing the Shat Goswami Ashtakam, he says, Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu Yuga. He speaks about the two Raghus together. So why not we also keep them together in our discussion? Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, as we discussed last night, appeared in a village called Rampur. Raghunath Das Goswami Pad appeared in a village called Krishnapur. He appeared in a village called Krishnapur to the exalted Govardhan Mazumdar, who was the younger brother of the exalted Hiranya Mazumdar. Govardhan Mazumdar and Hiranya Mazumdar are described to be very famous landlords and tax collectors. They were very rich. It's described they are rich. They were so rich that their wealth was compared to be like the fortress of Indra, the headquarters of Lakshmi Devi. They had so many gold coins that even they couldn't count. The more they would spend, the more would get deposited. So it was almost impossible for them to actually have a proper count. And Raghunath Das Goswami, being the son of Govardhan Mazumdar, the only son, the only child of Govardhan Mazumdar, and point to be noted, Hiranya Mazumdar didn't have any children. The only heir to the throne, the only possible inheritor to this property was Raghunath Das Goswami, with no competitor. Nowadays we find, brothers can kill each other and drag each other to court for some property stuff. Not just brothers, even devotees do it. Yes, even they can do it. External devotees. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he had no competition to inherit this wealth. But the interesting thing was, he had no taste for it. Even one gold coin, the weight of one gold coin was too heavy for his heart. Anything that would take him to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he would accept. Anything that would take him away from Sri Krishna Chaitanya, without a second thought, he would kick it away. As a child, it's described, he had the association of the most glorious Haridas Thakur Mahashai. Raghunath Das Goswami grew up with high-class Uttam Bhagavats, Uttam Adhikari Mahabhagavats, pure Vaishnavas. Their family priest was Yadunandan Acharya, who chanted more than 128 rounds of japa every day. And Yadunandan Acharya was the celebrated disciple of Srila Advaita Acharya. And Srila Advaita Acharya was so strict with his disciples as far as chanting japa is concerned, he would tie the shikha to the pole, not his, but his disciples' shikha. He would tie the shikha of the disciples to a common pole. Like 4 disciples sit around a pole and they tie their shikha to that pole. And only when they show their counter beats that they have finished 64 rounds of japa would he untie and give them some prasadam. This was the price. Take diksha from Advaita Acharya. Anyone with recommendation letters? So Yadunandan Acharya is the family priest who is the disciple of Advaita Acharya. And Yadunandan Acharya's best friend was Vasudev Datta, another exalted Mahabhagavat, crying to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all the time, compassion bleeding out of his body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes Vasudev Datta's compassion as ever flowing tears from the eye and ever bleeding streams of blood and compassion from the heart. And that would be resonated, or that would be explained by the tongue which is in the middle. This was on one end of the spectrum. To add more spiritual, devotional mood, their spiritual master was Balaram Acharya, another Mahabhagavat, whose best friend and companion was Haridas Thakur. So Raghunath Das Goswami grew up in the association of Yadunandan Acharya, Balaram Acharya, Namacharya, Haridas Thakur, and so many such exalted Vaishnavas. Very wonderful practical lesson again. Kaumaram macharet prajño dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham deham tadapi arthadam adruvam. Prahlad Maharaj says in Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. He also continues in that same chapter, 3 verses later, 764, he says, Tat prayaso na kartavyo yatha ayu vyayaparam na tatha vindate kshemam mukunda charanam bhujam. Prahlad Maharaj says, this bhakti is so valuable that not a moment should be wasted without engaging in the devotional mood of Sri Krishna. As soon as one is born in this world, one should start chanting. He says, if that's not possible, at least before the age of 5, one should start chanting Hare Krishna. one should start hearing about Krishna, one should start serving Vaishnavas. But that is not in our hands. Depends where we are born. If we get fortunate, we may have conducive environment to take us from where we left off last life. But if not, Prahlad Maharaj says, as soon as one realizes the value of human form, no looking back. We just march towards our destination. We keep chanting, we keep hearing, we keep serving. So many books to read, so many classes to hear, so many Vaishnavas to serve, there is no time for anything else. Human life is invaluable. The Puranas describe that demigods perform yajnas to become a human in Kali Yuga. And we have got that exalted position. And now to waste it and to give up devotional service to catch something temporary is the biggest trap of Maya. Even Dhruva Maharaj, when he met the Supreme Lord, according to Hari Bhakti Sudhoda, it is described, he looked at the form of Mahavishnu in the forest, bedecked with jewels in 4 hands and a very beautiful helmet, with a smiling face. And Dhruva Maharaj said, Sthana bhilashi tapasi stitoham Tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam Kajan vichinvan api divyaratnam Swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. Dhruva Maharaj said, my Lord, Sthana bhilashi tapasi stitoham. I situated myself in austerity to get some tract of land. But now after getting you, Tvam praptavan, I have achieved you in my life, and it's even difficult for Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lakshmi to get you. After getting you in my life, my Lord, I feel, Kachan vichinvan api divyaratnam. Even the abode of Brahmaji is actually like broken pieces of glass. And getting devotion for you is like an invaluable diamond. My Lord, after getting this diamond, I came here searching for broken pieces of glass, but now, by your mercy, I have found a diamond, my Lord. I have no other desire. So the practical point here is, if a perfected devotee like Dhruva Maharaj realizes Brahma's abode to be like pieces of glass, what would happen when he walks into our house? If Brahma's abode is like pieces of glass, broken pieces of glass, what is our house like? And if we give up bhakti for Brahma's abode, Dhruva Maharaj feels that is atrocious. And to give up bhakti for our house, Dhruva Maharaj says that is not even a comparison. So we should value what we have got. A human form, a capable human form, bhakti, the process of bhakti, and everything conducive. So we should just march. Right from childhood, or as soon as possible, we should march towards our goal by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So right from childhood, Raghunath Das Goswami grew up in this association, and very positive impressions were given in his consciousness. He didn't indulge in any other worldly activity. Maximum time he would spend in the cave with Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur lived in a cave with snakes. It is described he preferred the association of snakes than envious humans. Because Haridas Thakur's point was, the snake will bite you once and you die. But you don't want snake bite every day and slow death. So that is worse. That is really worse. Even Chanakya Pandit, in his Chanakya Niti, he says, if you have a snake and if you have a wicked person to choose from, embrace the snake. He may or may not bite you, and even if he does, you will die. But the wicked person for sure will bite you and will make sure that you have a slow death. So Haridas Thakur preferred the association, and in fact that was also an uddipan for him, because whenever he would see snakes, he would remember Anantadev and his chanting would. So he would live in the cave, and without material possessions, without food. If someone comes inside the cave and offers some prasad, he will accept, but he would not go out and beg for food, because then he would not be able to finish his vrat of 300,000 names of Krishna. We think this is very hyperbolic, but very honestly, in the Parikrama Marg of Govardhan, there used to be a Baba in the present generation, in the last 150 years. There used to be a Baba by the name Chandrasekhar Baba in Govardhan Parikrama. And he would live in the caves of Govardhan. And his bhajan was so intense that he would just have a kopin under the waist and he would keep chanting all day. All day. And for about half an hour, he would go out for doing madhukari. But unfortunately, what happened was he was wearing the same kopin for years. So many years he wore the same kopin that the strands of the thread of the cloth just came up. They were ripped apart, and he didn't even have a kopin, and he couldn't go out like that, covered by the 10 directions. So he just preferred to be in the cave. What can he do? He can go out, he can stay there. And he stayed in the caves of Govardhan. Even now there are such secretive caves in Govardhan. It's amazing. It's just amazing. If you do the car parikrama from outside, you'll not get anything. But if you actually walk inside, the inner hidden paths in Govardhan, with Brijbasis, the normal parikrama is 21 to 23 kilometers. But if you walk the hidden path, more than 25, 30 kilometers, you can even now see caves which are so mysterious. And you can't even enter. You literally have to crawl your way in. So Chandrasekhar Baba was living there, chanting the names. He was a Nimbarki sadhu who chanted the Yugal mantra. So he was chanting, and it was 3 or 4 days he had not gone out for Madhukari because there was nothing. He couldn't go out. It's mysterious. One Baba came inside the cave and gave him a kopin and gave him this big bowl of prasad after 3 or 4 days of bhajan. Chandrasekhar Baba with tears asked him, who told you and how did you know I didn't have a kopin? How did you know that I didn't have prasadam? He said, one young girl, 12 to 14 years old, came to me and said, I am from Barsana. And there is one Baba called Chandrasekhar Baba living in that cave who's crying very secretly, and he has a torn kopin. He can't even come out. And he has not eaten anything for 3 or 4 days. Please give this to him. So these are stories which are, in the present era. So we can imagine what would have been the level of bhajan of Haridas Thakur. They were like lines on a rock. Never would he miss his chanting. 300,000 names. Apart from chanting japa, he would also do kirtan, and he would also go preach with Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu would knock on the doors and fall at their feet, and then they would chase Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, and Nityananda Prabhu would run really fast because he was Balaram. And poor Haridas Thakur, being old, he would always find it difficult to catch up. And he would tell Nityananda Prabhu, why do you do these things to put me and land me in trouble? If you knock the doors, you bear the brunt. Why are you giving me the beastings? So this was the life of Haridas Thakur, the embodiment of total surrender and compassion. Coming from an Islamic background, giving up the practices of Quran and chanting japa of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what did he get in return? Being whipped in 22 marketplaces, 150 whips every day in each marketplace. 100 whips to 150 whips in each marketplace, 22 such marketplaces, and this was daily. For what? For chanting japa. Imagine if we were threatened like that. You better give up japa or else you'll be whipped. Anyway, my beat bag is in your bag. I'm anyway not chanting, don't worry. So he was being whipped for this. And after being whipped in 6 to 7 marketplaces, generally people would die, and he's still smiling. And those who were whipping, they would look at Haridas Thakur and they would say, generally people die in 7 to 8 marketplaces, and it's been 7, 8 marketplaces and you're still smiling. What are you smiling about? Haridas Thakur would say, I'm tasting the nectar of the holy name. But these people would say, but we are afraid. If you last 22 marketplaces, the king would order us to be whipped, thinking that we didn't do our job well. If you don't die, he will kill us. Now Haridas Thakur started feeling, oh really? Is it so that if I don't die, they will kill you? No problem, I'll give up my body. And in a second, he gave up his body. Haridas Thakur, who wasn't giving up his body after 6, 7 marketplaces, gave up his body in a second when he got to know that because of him, they're going to be inconvenienced. And then they took his body and didn't know what to do because the Hindus had thought Haridas was an outcast. And the Muslims thought he was an outcast. The Smarta Brahmanas didn't like him because he was chanting loudly, and they would think by chanting loudly you're disturbing the sleep of Vishnu during Chaturmas. We get disturbed when somebody chants aloud, so maybe Vishnu also gets disturbed when somebody chants aloud. So you're the cause of Vishnu's waking up during Chaturmas. So the Smartas, the over-smarters, didn't like Haridas Thakur. And the Muslims didn't like him. So they thought of doing something which was considered to be abominable in both of their practices. According to the Hindus, to burn somebody's body, according to proper samskars and rites, was considered to be proper. According to Muslims, to bury and give samadhi was considered to be proper. They thought we shouldn't give him either of them. They just took his body and threw it into the holy river. And Haridas Thakur's body started floating from one end, from one bank to another bank, touched the another bank, and the soul came back into the body, and he got up and he started walking around chanting the holy name. He came back to life, started chanting the holy name. This was Haridas Thakur. And coming from an Islamic background, from someone who didn't have very aristocratic Brahmin birth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established him as Namacharya, and not the erudite scholars and Brahmanas from Navadvip. Making this point that our background, our birth, our material qualification, disqualification don't matter. Only our spiritual intensity matters. Please kindly repeat. Shuchi hai, muchi hai.
Shuchi hai, muchi hai.
Yadi Krishna tyaje.
Yadi Krishna tyaje.
Muchi hai, shuchi hai.
Muchi hai, shuchi hai.
Yadi Krishna bhaje.
Yadi Krishna bhaje.
Shuchi means someone very high class, and mochi or muchi means someone very low class. Shuchi hai, muchi hai. The upper class, the high class becomes low class. Yadi Krishna tyaje, if he gives up bhakti. And muchi hai, shuchi hai, yadi Krishna bhaje. The low class becomes high class if he accepts bhakti. So Haridas Thakur, who exemplified unalloyed pure devotion with no other side interests, would empower and bless Srila Raghunath Das Goswami as a child. And these were the impressions that he carried. He would hear Hari Katha, Nam Mahima every day from Srila Haridas Thakur. And he would come home, and all that he would do is take up his beads and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So parents were a little worried. Devotee parents, but still they were worried. If he chants too much, if he gets too deep in devotion, what will happen to his material career? What will happen? He wouldn't find a nice girl. He wouldn't settle down in life. They were worried. They thought, but it's just a childish infatuation. It will die with time. But it just exponentially increased. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas in Katwa, and then he was going towards Vrindavan. And at that time, he stopped at Shantipur. And it is very interesting how he stopped at Shantipur. He was so intoxicated after taking Diksha that he was running around from one place to another. After taking sannyas, he was running around like a madman. Every rock that he would see, he would remember Giriraj. Every pond of water that he would see, he would think this is some kund or Radha kund or Sham kund or Yamuna. Every devotee that he would see, he would be intoxicated seeing Krishna in them. So he wanted to run to Vrindavan. Nityananda Prabhu said, yes, you take a right, you'll reach Vrindavan. And being intoxicated, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lost his directions. So he came to Shantipur. And he thought, this is Vrindavan! Shri Vrindavan Dham ki! Yeah. After coming to Vrindavan, quote unquote Vrindavan, he came and he saw, tall coconut trees. He was thinking, from when have coconut trees started growing up in Vrindavan? And then he saw Advaita Acharya walking in. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Advaita, even you are in Vrindavan. This is Yamuna. Look at these trees. They're actually small groves of Vrindavan. They've erupted in ecstasy. Advaita Acharya looked at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, my Lord, this is Shantipur. This is my hometown. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, are you crazy? This is Vrindavan. Don't bring your material conceptions here. Advaita Advaita Acharya looked at his god brother Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu was like, I tricked him here. But then Advaita Acharya, being very honest as a Brahmana, he said, my lord, you've been tricked by the mysterious Nityananda. And you've been got here to Shantipur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time became furious. He looked at Nityananda Prabhu and he whacked him playfully. But interestingly, there was a reason why he came to Shantipur. Shantipur was very close to Raghunath Das Goswami's hometown. Raghunath Das Goswami was informed by Haridas Thakur that Mahaprabhu has come here to Shantipur. Let us go and take darshan. And till now, Raghunath Das Goswami had just heard about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Haridas Thakur. And this was the first time he's going to see the combined form of Sri Radha and Krishna in one form as a golden incarnation. And it's so beautiful to note that according to Gaur Ganadesh Deepika by Kavi Karnapur, the eternal identity of Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari, or in some places he's also mentioned as Bhanumati, or in some places he's also mentioned as Tulsi Manjari. So he has characteristics of these eternal associates. Whatever may be the eternal identity, all three identities, whether it is Rati Manjari, Bhanumati or Tulsi Manjari, they are eternal maidservants of Radharani. And here Radharani has come as Chaitanya. So what would be the increased ecstasy for an eternal associate, a maidservant of Radharani, to be reunited with Radharani, who has come in a hidden form in Kali Yuga? So Raghunath Das Goswami couldn't stop. He ran to Shantipur with Haridas Thakur. He reached Shantipur, completely prostrated himself at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he lived there for 10 days. He served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very menially. He observed the limbs, the bodily beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He looked at the eyes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He looked at the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How beautiful and exquisite was this combined incarnation. For 10 days, he massaged the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He served him prasad. He washed his plates. He accepted the remnants. He served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely. And at the end of 10 days, he told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can you just take me wherever you go as your personal servant? Just like Tapana Mishra had asked last night. Do you remember? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked by Raghunath Das Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you're too young. You must go home and be with your parents at the moment. You must serve your parents. The same instruction that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami received. Not now, you should go home. Raghunath Das Goswami came back. He came home, but he didn't enter home. He would just stay outside the house. Every morning he would run to go and meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu would move because he had told in Shantipur that you go home, I am going to Puri. So the parents of Raghunath Das Goswami, they would get him back and they thought this is not good. Our son Raghunath is not doing good. So they employed full-time guards who would have to chain Raghunath Das Goswami outside the house. He wouldn't come inside. He would say, no, I can't come inside this house. If I come here, you will bolt and close all the doors and windows and I can go and meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'll sit outside your house. Can you imagine such an opulent house with so much money? And he would prefer to be in self-inflicted poverty because that was an easier path to get Krishna. The guards would catch him and say, you can't go. And he would pacify himself. The next morning with sunrise, again he would run. And again the guards would catch hold of him and chain him. And he would slip through the chains and again run. And again he would be got. And again chained. And again he would go. And again he would be got. This went on day after day after day. The parents were very much worried now. They thought this is getting out of hand. How can we tie him with chains that are very difficult to break? Griham Kupam. They thought, let us tie him with invisible chains in such a way that he'll be bound but he can escape. They thought of getting him married off to a very beautiful girl who was externally and internally very beautiful, very sattvic, very simple-hearted. But still Raghunath Das Goswami, he didn't want to share his love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with anyone in this world. He wanted to be an Ananya Bhakta. Ananya Bhakta means they don't share their love with anything or anyone in this world. It's only Krishna. See? married, but he was still the same. They thought of giving him wealth, but he was still the same. Again he would run, and again they would catch and get him. After a few days, he asked his parents that I really want to go to Jagannath Puri. Parents said, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so far away. What are you going to do running like this? We promise you, next time he comes back to the place where you met him, Shantipur, if at all he comes, then we will let you go. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Jagannath Puri, while going to South India, he again happened to stop at Shantipur, the hometown of Advaitacharya. And Raghunath Das Goswami told his parents, you had promised me, next time Mahaprabhu comes to Shantipur, you will let me go. I promise I'll be back. The parents said, we don't trust you. So kids, don't worry. It's just parampara. Said, we don't trust you. Can you send the gods also with me? I go with the gods. I promise you the gods will get me back. Okay. That's hope giving. Okay, let the gods go too. Raghunath Das Goswami's mind was racing to this fact that if the gods also come, they would also be attracted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then they become my friends. They would tell me, well, let's all run. So this was his plan, and parents said, okay, you go. They all went to Shantipur. Again, Raghunath Das Goswami stayed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and served him and said, I want to come, I want to join you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you got married recently, right? He said, yes, my lord. He said, don't be a markata vairagi. Don't renounce this world like a monkey. Now, externally, the monkey looks really renounced. Yes, no clothes, no house, no fixed shelter, no food, very detached. No one goes close to him. But in his mind, he's always making a plan when he can enjoy next. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't renounce this world like a monkey would do. Bring in renunciation in your heart, not an external show, please. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he says, Anasaktasya vishayan yathartham upayunjataha nirbandhe krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. That true renunciation means things which are topics which are not related to Krishna, to give them up. That is true renunciation. And true attachment in this world means to attach oneself to Krishna. If that is not the mood, then falgu vairagya kathyate. Then it's just fake renunciation. So Mahaprabhu heavily chastised him. Not because Raghunath Das Goswami was not renounced, but through Raghunath Das Goswami, we are taught principles. Srila Prabhupada would explain that Krishna is using his pure devotees to teach us a lesson, to give us a message. So Raghunath Das Goswami was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, return home with all your gods, go. Now this was the instruction from the Lord, so Raghunath Das Goswami came back. The mother started speaking to the father. We should really try doing something. Why not we just get him inside the house and tie him up with ropes? And the father said, when we have tried tying him up with invisible chains of wealth and women, and that is not able to tie him up, what other rope can tie him? Raghunath Das Goswami even materially had very beautiful, kind, and relatable, compassionate heart. There was a Turkish landlord, a tax collector, who was working for the king. Now Govardhan Mazumdar and Hiranya Mazumdar were supposed to collect 2 million gold coins regularly, of which 1.5 million they would give it to the government and they would keep the rest with them. But interestingly, in one of the accounts, this Turkish landlord saw that out of 2 million, instead of giving 1.5 to the government, they had just given 1.2 to the government and kept the profit. It was an accidental mistake that happened. It wasn't intentional. So this Turkish landlord, this tax collector, he came in barging and hitting the door of Raghunath Das Goswami's house. Said, where's your father Govardhan? Where's Hiranya Mazumdar? I want to meet both of them. Raghunath, as a young child, he said, a young boy, he said, I don't know where my uncle and my father they are, but may I serve you in some way? And this tax collector in fury started hitting Raghunath Das Goswami. But Raghunath Das Goswami was so compassionate. He looked at this Turkish tax collector and he said, "You're a Muslim. And according to your Islamic faith, having compassion on everyone and being kind is certainly a principle which pleases Allah. So by being kind on me, you please God. And at the same time, my father and your grace, you're our friends. So I'm like your son. And you shouldn't hit your son like this. This is not correct. If you don't stop, I'm going to call 911. This is not the way you treat me." So Raghunath Das Goswami, when he spoke very kind words to this tax collector, his heart melted. He embraced Raghunath and he started crying and he said, "Please forgive me. I don't know how I misbehaved like this. I know I had to meet your father, but I'm not going to take this case ahead. Just tell your father that this tax collector had come, and the simple way to solve this problem, just tell him to share the profit with me. He would just settle it and no one knows." So Raghunath said, "Okay, you all settle the money." And so in this way it is described by the biographers that Raghunath Das Goswami, even in his relations, he was exemplifying Vaishnav character. Oftentimes for us, we make a very grave mistake of being a devotee in the temple and being something else outside. And we find it very difficult to switch roles. Something outside and something inside. Something outside and something inside. That just shows that we have not completely digested the principles of bhakti in our personality. Someone who is a devotee in all circumstances, in all places. He upholds these ideals even at work, even in his relationships, with his spouse, with his children at home, with his friends and colleagues at work, and with devotees in the temple community. One extreme of divinity is being a high-class devotee everywhere, and another extreme of the spectrum is to behave in the temple the way we behave outside. So we have to make this transition. We bring in the outside mentality, the attacks of Maya within the temple, and that's how we behave. That is another end of the spectrum we shouldn't have in. We should try to imbibe these qualities. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami, a dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada from Gujarat, he would say a very beautiful point. And he would say that all the circumstances and situations in life that we enter, they have been perfectly tailored and chopped down by Krishna for us. So whether we are at work, whether the person whom we are going to get married to, the children that we are gifted with, are all Krishna's children, are all Krishna's souls. Every living being who comes in our life is actually Krishna's gift. He would say the way we treat each other is the way that we are expressing to Krishna, this is how I would treat you if you walk in front of me. Krishna will value all our patrams and pushpams only if we know how to treat his devotees well. The deities don't need 6 aratis. They need the 6 aratis of expression of love, not just during the 6 aratis, but also in the time between the 6 aratis. This is so important. So Raghunath Das Goswami exemplified these principles and behaved with everyone like that, with devotees, with non-devotees, with atheists, with tormentors. Same with Haridas Thakur. Getting close to Christmas, how did Jesus behave? When he was being tossed with humiliation and tormentation, how did he behave? How did he react to such situations? For being a messenger of God and sharing goodwill and spreading the message of love of God, if this is how you get treated, how would you feel? He took it as the will of God. He took it as a way that the will of God would never take us to a place where the grace of God won't protect us. And even after being totally abused and put on the crucifix for slow death, to be forced to carry the crucifix, to be put on a crown with nails and thorns, Jesus was just praying, God, please forgive them. They know not what they're doing. So this is Vaishnava philosophy. This is how we treat each other. His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would say a very beautiful point. He would say the person whom we criticize and abuse the most, he has our key back home, back to Godhead. The door through which we have to enter back home, back to Godhead, that key to that door is in the hands of the person whom we are most critical and envious about. He would say, we are being attacked by material nature outside, and we are all devotees after so many lifetimes. How many lives did we transmigrate to become a human? And among the human species, how many lives did we transmigrate to become a devotee? And to sit here in this temple as a community and hear Krishna Katha. How many billions of lives we have spent? We've all climbed up on the top of the pyramid. How valuable, how precious each devotee is to Krishna. When we don't see this connection, that's when we succumb to the second lower nature. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he actually used what he gained from Haridas Thakur when the time needed it. It's one thing to be a PhD in the head during a Sunday feast, and it's another thing to be a kindergarten in our heart when we are tested. All the knowledge gets fructified only when we use it. Every morning, like a parrot, we say, Tarori Vasahishruna, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarori Vasahishruna, Trinadapi Sunichena. Krishna doesn't want our melodies, please. Krishna doesn't want our blank fire parrot recitation. Krishna wants to see, he wants to have a smile when he actually sees us apply it in real life. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would say, at the end of it all that we have is each other's association. He would also say beautiful points like, if we cannot associate properly here, how do we train ourselves to associate with the same devotees there? Another beautiful point, I really love him for his quotes. So another beautiful point that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would say is that when we depart from this world, the probability of whom we are going to have around us, praying for us and chanting for us, are the people whom we are going to be with and around while we are alive. If we are with this community while being alive, it is this community as the increased probability who are going to be around us chanting and praying for us when we depart. How well should we take care of each other? How well we should learn to value each other. The differences may come and go. What is the similarity? The similarity that bonds all of us together is way more higher than all the differences that may come and go. We are all spirit souls eternally. We all belong to Krishna eternally. We are human beings. We are devotees. How much more similar? The petty, temporary, flickering differences may come and go. But if we focus on that, we miss the essence of life. So the pastime flow of the life of 6 Goswamis is one thing, which is entertaining to the ear. But the import to apply in real life is very important as Vaishnavas. We may know the whole pastime, but if we don't apply it, we win the battle but end up losing the war. So Raghunath Das Goswami, when he encountered this Turkish man, it is described in the biographies that the Turkish man had a change of heart just by looking at his response. You see, when you squeeze an orange, what comes out is orange juice. Right? You squeeze a mango, what comes out is mango juice. Why is it so? Why is it not that you squeeze a mango and you get orange juice out? And you squeeze an orange and you get mango juice out? Because what is in is what is out when squeezed. Yes? What is inside the fruit is what comes out when it's squeezed. So we are all like fruits. We all have juice within. But when we are pressed and squeezed and punctured by situation, is it hatred that comes out? Is it envy that comes out? Is it sharp shooting words that come out? It's very nice and very wonderful to be goody-goody when everything is good. The fruit looks plump when it's not crushed. But the juice comes out and it shows its inner nature only when it's squeezed. So a devotee, a pure Vaishnava, who practices tolerance, when he's squeezed, what comes out is tolerance, because that is what is inside. Krishna gives us ample opportunities in life to practice it. It's about whether we want to take it like that or not. So when the Turkish gentleman, he squeezed Raghunath Das, what came out was tolerance. He impressed his parents by that virtue. And parents said, yes, for this virtue, we let you go another time when you ask for it. You get extra brownie points for this. So then he got to know the one and only Nityananda Prabhu, the embodiment of Guru Tattva, the origin of Guru Tattva had come to Panihati Dham. He had come to the house of Sri Raghava Pandit. Sri Raghava Pandit is described in the Shastra to be an excellent cook again, like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So much so that it's described when he would cook, and even before he would offer, Radharani would come and taste and say, it's very nice. He would see Srimati Radharani come in his meditation, who would taste a preparation and sometimes say, yes, you can add a little bit of this spice, a little bit of that, and it's going to be perfect. So Radharani loved. So Radharani is an expert cook and she loved Raghava Pandit's cooking. So Nityananda Prabhu came to Raghava Pandit's place in Panihati and he was sitting under a banyan tree in the open field. And he told Raghava Pandit, you cook a feast. We're all going to come to your house for lunch. Little did Raghava Pandit know that Nitai is going to change the gear at the end moment. So Raghava Pandit prepared a big sumptuous feast. And at that time Nitai was sitting with all his associates under a tree. It looked like a dark sky with a dazzling full moon with an assembly of stars. Shata Chandra Nabhasthalam. It looked like 100 moons, the effulgence of 100 moons. Nitai is sitting there. And Raghunath Das Goswami came running to Panihati. And he was so ecstatic because it is described that Nityananda Prabhu and his eternal consort, Vasudha Devi and Janava Devi, they represent Ananga Manjari, the younger sister of Radharani. And Raghunath Das Goswami, being Rati Manjari, has a close connection with Ananga Manjari in Golok Dham. So whether it is to Radharani as Chaitanya or to Ananga Manjari as Nitai, Raghunath Das Goswami eternally in Krishna Leela and Gaur Leela is very attached to both of them, Gauranga and Nityananda. So looking at Nitai, he didn't go close because he was ecstatic. As soon as he saw Nitai, he just fell flat on the ground and he was rolling. Like a stick he fell, trembling. So some devotees came and whispered in the ear of Nityananda Prabhu, have you heard of Raghunath? Yes, our Govardhan Masundar's son. Yes, he's here. He has come. And Nitai looked from a distance and he said, catch hold of him, he's a thief. And that was the first meeting with Nitai. First time he ever met Nityananda Prabhu. Said, catch hold of him, he's a thief. Thief? My Lord, why would you say that? Nityananda Prabhu said, when you try to claim somebody's cherished property and wealth without their permission, that's called theft. He said, no one meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without my approval. And this thief has met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu twice without asking me. Such a big thief. And thief must be punished. Like Sri Bilva Mangala Thakur tells Krishna, Krishna, you're such a big thief. Vraje prasedham navanita choram gopangana nanchadu kula choram aneka janmarjita papa choram choragraganyam purusham namami. Oh Krishna, you're such a big thief. You start off with the butter thief, being a butter thief. You start off with the small stealing, that's the butter. You steal everything. The only thing that I've cherished and I've got with so much hard work over lifetimes is my sin. Aneka janma arjita papa. With so much effort I have committed sin, Krishna. Lifetime after lifetime I've sinned through thought, word and deed and I've accumulated. It's compound interest. And then one holy name and you steal it away. I can't believe such a big thief that you are. From your birth you started stealing from the complexion of the cloud. And in Gaur Avatar you're stealing the heart of Radharani and the complexion of Radharani. What's going on? And the worst thing, Krishna, Padashritanam just samasta chauram. Someone who has given up everything for you, you take even the slightest possession that they come to you with. You just make them a total pauper. Akinchani kritya padashratamya karoti bhikshum patigeha hinam. It is Krishna's promise that anyone who approaches him with sincerity, he makes them a homeless beggar. But this must be understood in the right perspective. This whole song is sarcastic, please note. It means that someone who has got taste for Krishna, they naturally don't enjoy anything in this house. They want to leave and go to Vrindavan. And they never come back. They become homeless. So you're such a big thief, Krishna. You're thief number one. Therefore, you must be put in a prison number one. The prison which is dark and slimy and it's dirty. I'm going to put you in such a prison, Krishna. And the worst, the prison number one, as far as being worse is concerned, is my heart. Because it's dark in ignorance and dirty because of my ulterior motives. And in this heart, I'm going to give you eternal life imprisonment because you are eternal. Sat, you are eternal. So eternal life imprisonment, and I'm going to tie you with prem pash, the handcuffs of divine love. So this is a sarcastic way of saying, Krishna, I want you to live in my heart. Bilva Mangala Thakur has composed the whole song in sarcasm. A very beautiful sarcasm. It's positive sarcasm. So in this way, Nityananda Prabhu, he announced that every thief must be punished. This Raghunath has stolen my property without asking me. He must be punished profusely. What is the punishment? He comes from a very wealthy background. He has a lot of money. I have checked his Bank of America app, his bank balance. I don't want to say how many digits that is. It's going out of the screen. That's his savings. So he has to now use that money from his father's bank account, from the money that he has inherited, to cook a feast for all the Vaishnavas. And as soon as they said about prasad, God knows from where the audience just tripled. So don't be amazed by what happens now in a Sunday feast. It's just parampara. So for like an arti, you have like 10 devotees. Krishna, from the altar may seem, I feel like jumping off the altar and embracing each one of you. You've come for arati. 10 for arati, another 5 for class, 15, another 20, let's say 30 more for kirtan, so it's about 45. And when it's prasadam time, it's like sadhu sangha retreat. You throw in the sugar and the ants know where it is. So much so that it's described that during this announcement, after the announcement, devotees from the neighboring villages started joining in. When Nitai came, they are not coming. But as soon as there is prasadam announcement, Murari Chaitanya, Udarana Thakur, Sundarananda, Paramananda, Gauri Das Pandit, Gadadhar Das, all these associates of Nitai started coming in and they started getting their associates. It's described people were floating in the Ganga and having prasadam. No place. He told Raghunath Das Goswami, I want you to have a Chira Dahi Mahamahotsav. He gave the preparation also. He said, I want devotees to give you sugar, and I want devotees to give you camphor and banana and hot milk and all of this. And he made 2 beautiful pots for Chiradahi Mahotsav. And every Vaishnava was personally being served by Raghunath Das Goswami. And Nitai became so ecstatic that in his meditation he remembered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And no one could see, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested there. And Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu with their hands, along with Raghunath Das Goswami, they were still serving every Vaishnava. And the Vaishnava would say, no, I'm okay. No, you should have more. They would give more and more. The devotees would eat with 5 mouths. So prasada, in Hindi it's called Prabhu ke Sakshat Darshan. Pra means Prabhu, Sa means Sakshat, which means direct manifestation. And Da means darshan. So this is like the direct manifestation of the Lord's mercy. You see, you'll see people sleeping during a class. Now, I'm not saying it on experience, but I'm just making a point. You'll see people, look around. No, I'm joking. You'll see, everybody's awake. Isn't that amazing? As soon as you say it, they're like, not me. Why am I seeing two Amarendras on the Vyasa side? Like we were in one temple for the morning program, and few of our devotees, we were like sitting and chanting japa. And then one of our friends, all college course, so one of our friends, we were chanting, and then we were all chanting, and then one of those devotees were like, he was like taking all sides possible. And then another devotee said, "You sleeping?" He's like, "No, I'm meditating. Chant and hear." All the philosophy makes sense at that time. I'm meditating, chant and hear. And he's telling me, don't sleep, you should chant and hear. Prabhupada said, chant audibly and hear. He said, I know, I'm doing that, you're sleeping. So you can see people sleep during class. You can see people sleep during japa. Trust me, I've seen people sleep during a soft kirtan. It was around 9:30 at night. It was soft kirtan going on. I was like, it's kirtan time. When it speeds up, just tell me. But you will never see people sleep during prasadam. Not a single devotee. You will never see people go. It's always, it's just so perfect. The hand-to-mouth coordination is just perfect. So therefore, Jagannath Dev, the Lord of Jagannath Puri, is so merciful. He knows, I appear as Ramchandra, I give them the path of Niti and Dharma, they sleep. I come as Krishna and tell them surrender, bhakti, they sleep. I come as Chaitanya and I tell them chant the holy name, they sleep. Now let me come as Anna Brahma and give them prasad by which they will not sleep. So this process of prasad that Prabhupada introduced is a very pleasing way to approach Krishna. It's a very positive way of spiritualizing, Krishnizing our existence. So all the devotees were being fed. Nityananda Prabhu was serving, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was serving, Raghunath Das Goswami was serving, and it was ecstatic. People were taking multiple servings, of course. And amidst all this, Raghava Pandit comes out. He said, my lord, he just finished cooking 56 items in his house. And he looks at this tumultuous uproar of prasadam ecstasy. He looks at Nityananda Prabhu and he says, I thought you came to Panihati telling me that you're going to have lunch prasadam in my house. Nitai said, that was the plan, but I'm a cowherd boy. You see from Krishna Leela, I am Balaram, so I like spontaneity. And I like to have prasadam in the open with my friends, so I found them and I ate, that's all. He said, what am I going to do with all this prasadam that's sitting in my house? I said, don't worry. You're going to get hungry at night. We'll come home and we'll have prasadam, don't worry. So it's described in the Shastra, whenever and wherever Shachi Mata cooks, whenever and wherever Srivas Pandit sings, whenever and wherever Raghava Pandit cooks, and whenever and wherever Nitai dances, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests. So after this prasadam, devotees got up and they were like, we need some exercise, and all of them started jumping and dancing in Krishna Nam Sankirtan. All of the devotees put their hand up, really high up in the air, and they started screaming from the lower region of their lungs to the higher region of their throat, chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. After this tumultuous kirtan, Nityananda Prabhu picked up all his garlands that he had and he started garlanding the chief singers and dancers who got his attention through their Nam Sankirtan performance. He would give them gifts. He would take sandalwood pulp and started offering them on their forehead. He would give them, so many different prasad remnants and blessings. The whole day passed in Nam Sankirtan. The whole day passed in Nam Sankirtan. And at night, when it was almost close to sunset, all the devotees assembled at Raghava Pandit's house. It was time to attack. They assembled and they told Nityananda Prabhu, So what's the plan? Nitai said, the plan is to jump, dance and sing, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Kirtan went on and on and on and on. And Raghav Pandit came out now this time. He thought in the morning he already made his plans of having prasadam. Now I think he's going to chant all night. Now what's going to happen to my prasadam again? He looked at Nitai. Nitai said, don't worry. Now this time you're going to have your prasadam. Raghava Pandit started serving, and it was Raghunath Das Goswami who assisted Raghava Pandit in serving the Vaishnavas. They all danced profusely. And at the end of that, or during the end of that singing, again Nitai invoked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also danced. And no one except Raghunath Das Goswami saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the first performance and in the second performance. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were appearing before the eyes of Raghunath Das Goswami. Amidst the shackles of his household life, which was like a dark sky, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like the rising sun and Nitai was like the rising moon to dispel all the darkness in his life in the form of attachment and entanglement. At the end of that, they all went to sleep. They were all so tired. And all night Raghunath Das Goswami massaged the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas, and he washed all their plates and ate all their remnants. So he was actually jumping on to seek the mercy of the Vaishnavas. When Nityananda Prabhu woke up in the middle, he saw Raghunath Das Goswami, who was the only one awake, who was taking prasadam from everyone's plate and serving and massaging everyone's lotus feet. He looked at Nitai, Nitai looked at him. He asked Raghunath Das Goswami, in return to your service, what is the benediction that I can give you? Raghunath Das Goswami said, my Lord, I have only one desire. My desire is to leave everything and go to Jagannath Puri. I want to be with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't want anything else in this world. I am really being entangled in family life. All that I want is I want to sell and surrender my life at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nitai woke all the Vaishnavas up. And in their assembly, Nityananda Prabhu placed his lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. Imagine the personification of Guru Tattva, the origin, Adi Guru, Nitai, placing his beautiful soft lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. Narottam Das Thakur says, Nitaira Charana Satya, Tahara Sevaka Nitya, Nitai Pada Sada Korvas, Narotama Bada Dukhi, Nitai More Korosukhi, Rakho Ranga Charane Rodas. Which means the lotus feet of Nitai is the only reality in this world of temporary, illusory, flickery happiness. And anyone who serves Nitai becomes eternal. Nityananda Prabhu turned to all the Vaishnavas and said, all the Vaishnavas, I order you, please profusely bless and shower your blessings and prayers on Raghunath Das Goswami. Pray for him that may all his strings and ropes of attachment be severed, and let him run to Jagannath Puri to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let us pray that may he get the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all the Vaishnavas started blessing, and Raghunath Das Goswami would personally go and take the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. The Prabhujis, the senior Prabhujis, the senior most Prabhujis, everyone. He would take blessings. He would offer his obeisances and take blessings. So here is another practical interesting point for all of us. Raghunath Das Goswami had got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before. But both times when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, go home. First time in Shantipur, he said, go home. Second time in Shantipur, he said, no, don't be a Markata Vairagi, go home. But this time he approached Nitai, and Nitai said, yes, go to Jagannath Puri, we bless you. What is the lesson for us? The lesson is tied up with another story that I want to narrate from Treta Yuga. And then we will make our point. If you remember, we made this story, we made this point and the story during our Balram Katha last year, when we were describing the destruction of Dhenukasura. If you remember, it'll be wonderful. Let's recapitulate together. In Ramchandra's pastime, we find how Sri Ramachandra he was crying in separation from Mother Sita, who was kidnapped by Ravana. In separation from Mother Sita, he was searching hither and thither. And it was Sugriva who had lost his wife to Vali, his brother. So both joined hands and said, you help me find my wife and I'll help you find your wife. Ramchandra, he promised Sugriva, I will help you out first. Because the spirit of Ayodhya is that I will serve you first, irrespective of whether you want to serve me. It's about giving, giving, giving and forgiving. And the mood of Kishkinda is about getting, getting, getting and forgetting. Yeah? So we have to decide, what consciousness do we have? Do we have the consciousness of giving, giving, giving and forgiving? Or do we have the consciousness of getting, getting, getting and forgetting? Shri Shri Gaur-Nitai ki jai. So Sri Ramchandra said, oh Sugriva, I will help you out first. You tell me what to do. Sugriva said, you just defeat Vali and get my wife back. Ramchandra said, okay, this is how we do it. You challenge Vali for a fight. Sugriva said, Vali for a fight? Even without challenging him, he gives me a fight. And if I challenge him for a fight, what's going to happen is, you're going to see chutney. You're going to see a pulp of my face being, completely smashed and powdered by Vali. Ramchandra said, why fear when I am here? Go ahead. You go ahead and you fight Vali, I will stand behind the tree and I will destroy him. I said, okay. Sugriva went and said, Vali! Vali started thinking from his bedroom, wait a minute. Is this Sugriva? And he started looking and Sugriva was like, come out! I want to fight you. Please don't hit me. And Vali thinks to himself, this guy's gone nuts. He comes. Takes a monkey to do it. So he came out and he punched and powdered Sugriva. And Sugriva is looking around. Ramchandra, you're holding a bow in your hand. What are you doing with it? You're not holding a bow and arrow to stand on the altar at Tawaka temple. You got to come out and save me. And Ramchandra was as silent as ever. So Sugriva came back with a bluish black complexion face. Note, this was not the bluish black incarnation of Krishna. He came and he looked at Ram. Ramchandra said, you tried your best, but Sugriva was better. What to do? Sugriva said, it's me. Ramchandra said, wait a minute. I aimed my arrow thinking I'm going to kill Vali. But then later I was happy because I didn't realize who was hitting whom. I thought it was Sugriva punching and kicking Vali and I was happy. I put my bow and arrow down and I was clapping. Sugriva said, my lord, for your clapping, I had to take this design on my face. Ramchandra said, let's go once more. But this time I'll save you. Sugriva said, my lord. Sakrideva prapannoyam tavasmiti sa yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. Anyone who takes shelter of you, you make them fearless, my lord. There's something wrong. Sakrideva prapannoyam tavasmiti sa yachate bhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. You inflict fear, not fearlessness. Ramchandra said, this time I'll protect you. I promise you. He told Sri Lakshmana to offer his own garland to Sugriva. And now with the garland he could recognize who Sugriva was and who was Vali. Now when they started fighting, Ramchandra shot an arrow and killed Vali. Sugriva came back victorious and he told Sri Ramchandra, my lord, don't cheat me. You know who's Sugriva and who's Vali even without the garland. Why did you have me, have this face painting done? So Sri Ramchandra said, Sugriva, this is to teach you a lesson. The first time you saw Sri Lakshmana and myself, you gave me a sitting place, but you kept Lakshmana standing. So you're worshipping Krishna, Bhagavat Tattva, but you disrespected Guru Tattva. And therefore, when you were hit black and blue, that Guru Aparad got dissolved. But still I can protect you without Guru Kripa. So then when the garland of Sri Guru was offered, Guru has his blessings and now I can protect you. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite kathitha yartha prakashante mahatmana. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad chapter 6 text 23 describes that anyone who worships Sri Krishna and Guru with like-minded devotional spirit, only they can realize reality. If someone worships only Krishna, bypassing the teachings of Guru Tattva, they never reach the other end of spiritual success. So coming back to this story, it was Raghunath Das Goswami who had approached Sri Ram in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without Sri Lakshmana, that is Nitai. And therefore he was sent back 2 times. But now that he had served and pleased Guru Tattva, Nitai, now he was given the blessings by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come to Puri. So every morning that we sing, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado, this verse is very important. For us, as an organization, as ISKCON to grow, it's not just our spirit of serving Krishna. It is about coming together, uniting in purpose and serving the principles laid down by our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. What keeps us together is Srila Prabhupada's teachings. The application, the time, place, circumstance application of his eternal teachings. What would please Prabhupada? In such a situation, what pleases you is this, what pleases me is this, but what would please Srila Prabhupada? What would keep us together is Srila Prabhupada in the center. So in the morning also, while pronouncing this verse, we make this mistake. We say, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. It is Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. Or Yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. Which means by your mercy we get Krishna, but without your mercy we don't go anywhere. But when we say prasad both times, it's like saying, by getting your mercy we don't go anywhere in spiritual life. It's actually an insult to Sri Guru. So therefore, when we read the diacritics also, it is Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. There's a longer A there. Which means without the mercy of Sri Guru, we don't get Sri Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada has given the English diacritics so that we chant properly. So by Nitai's blessings, Raghunath Das Goswami was ecstatic on his way to go back to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Are we all with him on his way?
Yes.
To find Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri?
Haribo.
Raghunath Das Goswami Pad ki Jai! So next morning, early morning, he woke up and started running east direction, the fastest path to go to Jagannath Puri. But he thought to himself, midway, wait a minute, what am I doing? My father, Govardhan Mazumdar, and my uncle Hiranya Mazumdar would send the guards on a horse because they know this is the fastest way there. And I would be caught. So midway, after running east for such a long time, he decided, no, now I'm going to start running south, which is the long route. It's going to take 12 more additional days to reach Jagannath Puri. And it's a very difficult terrain. Valleys and villages and jungles and wild animals and nothing to eat and nowhere to sleep. But he preferred to do that than to be caught and hindered on the path finding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was running. How eager are we to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our lives? How eager are we? How intense is our Krishna consciousness? Do we have the fire that I want to go back home, back to Godhead in one lifetime and serve Krishna? Or we are pretty relaxed that it doesn't matter, I'll still get my goal, even if I'm not intense enough. Jesus says in the Bible a very beautiful point. He says, I accept you hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I spit you out. Which means either be a hardcore materialist or be a hardcore spiritualist. But our path of finding a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this and a bit of that doesn't please Krishna. The fire must increase. Like the boiling pot of milk in Damodar Leela was ready to overboil under the fire of austerity to get Krishna. And got Mother Yashoda surely. Krishna performed the whole pastime because of the intensity of that devotee. Is it not? So it's our intensity, our eagerness to get Krishna which matters. So Raghunath Das Goswami walked barefoot for more than 12 to 15 days. And every night that he would go, many times he would be sleepless and without food or water. He would try to collect water from different places and they were impure sometimes and contaminated sometimes. And he would get broken, uncooked, unpolished rice. Sometimes not palatable food, rotten food. And sometimes he would sleep overnight in a cowshed and drink some hot milk and move the next morning. So in 12 to 15 days of his travel, he had prasadam only 3 times. This was his intensity. And he was so fatigued by the time he reached Jagannath Puri. He was almost ready to give up his body, but not give up his desire to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When you see personalities like this on the altar and we offer arati, it is tears which must come down our eyes, thinking how much, how intense, how eager you were to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am offering this arati, this ghee lamp to you. Please give me one drop of that eagerness into my heart. This is all that I want. So this seminar is intended to bridge or give us a relationship, establish a relationship with the 6 Goswamis on the altar. Every Goswami that we see, oh Raghunath Bhatta, oh Raghunath Das, how intense you were, how eager you were to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You were ready to walk 15 days to get Krishna without food, water or shelter or sleep. And he was so tired, and young boy, young man so to speak, very tiring. And finally he reached Neelachala Kshetra Dham, Puri Dham. Imagine, to go to yatra with devotees is so ecstatic even now. What it would have been for Raghunath Das Goswami, an eternal associate, to go back to the Lord of his life 500 years ago. Walking and cutting through villages and cutting through jungles and cutting through valleys and just finding his way. After reaching Jagannath Puri, as Raghunath Das Goswami's stories unfolds, parallelly on a side track, Govardhan Mazumdar and Hiranya Mazumdar sent the guards to get Raghunath Das Goswami back. But they couldn't, because they drove, they took their horse and they started galloping east. Because the path south, it was not possible for them to maneuver and navigate with their horse there through the valleys and through the jungles and villages. So they just thought he's so intense and eager, he would have taken the fastest path possible. But they were wrong. This is how he treated them. Krishna is pretty crooked, transcendently crooked. And the pure devotees are also crooked, but transcendently crooked. They know how to get their job done for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever it may take. They are ready to take all hardships for the pleasure of Krishna. They are ready to put their body, mind, everything at stake to give pleasure to Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada was building the ISKCON Juhu Radharas Bihari temple in Mumbai, it is described one evening Srila Prabhupada was sitting with his hand on his forehead. And one dear associate came to Srila Prabhupada and said, "What happened? Are you having a headache?" Srila Prabhupada said, "This temple project is giving me a headache. So much opposition. So many hurdles. It's really giving me a headache." So the disciple said, "Then why don't you just give it up?" Srila Prabhupada said, "I have promised Radharas Bihari, I will give him a temple. Even if that means I have to give up my life, I will do it for my promise to Radharas Bihari." Prabhupada said, "It is better to have a headache making a temple for Radharas Bihari than to have a headache giving up the headache. And I'll go ahead with it. And it's so wonderful. You know, Arjun Sakha and myself, we grew up in that temple. He has literally crawled in the floor of Radha Rasbihari Mandir as a baby in 94, 95, 96. So this temple brings back, you know, so many beautiful memories. So ecstatic, so dear to Srila Prabhupada. And what name did Srila Prabhupada give? Rasa Vihari. That Krishna who performs the Rasa dance. Prabhupada has given us everything. Right from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita towards the Rasa dance of Radha and Krishna. Everything. So many such cases, so many such beautiful stories of Srila Prabhupada taking so much hardship for us. In another story of Srila Prabhupada, in his beautiful, wonderful manifest pastimes, one devotee, this is after Prabhupada's time, part of the temple, he was living in the temple, so he would go out for preaching and for fundraising. So he went to one place. He went to a big Bengali industrialist because he thought his sales pitch would mean, you know, the founder of our temple is a Bengali and you are a Bengali. It's a Bengali. Mishti doi. Sweetness. So you should give some donation. So he, you know, went through all the big leading Bengali industrialists and he went to this gentleman, took an appointment, he went there. And this industrialist, he was a big shot, big name. And he was in a meeting, and as soon as he saw this devotee, he cancelled the meeting and he said, now I have to talk to the Hare Krishnas, all of you go. So this devotee felt, wow, you know, he has high regard for the Hare Krishna. So he went and, you know, he put his flyer and banner and books and he had everything ready and he started speaking, you know, our temple, our philosophy, we are not the body, you're not the body, I'm not the body, your soul, I am soul. Let the souls come together for serving the super soul and, you know, without service to the super soul, our life is a whole. We must know what is our goal. And this is the sole purpose of our existence and so on and so forth.
Hari Bol.
Amazing. So he said all this, and he had to keep it really crisp because he didn't have so much. The industrialist didn't have so much time. So at the end of about 2 minutes of fumbling, rumbling, gumbling, so to speak, the industrialist said, "So okay, how much money should I give you as donation?" And at that time, he gave him a check of 10,000 rupees. The devotee it was very tough for him to believe that his preaching was so effective. So he took the check and it was a kind of a disbelief for him because he was thinking, on what basis is he giving me this check? Not 10,000, 10 lakhs by the way, it was that time. So a lot of money. He said, on what basis is he giving me a check of 10 lakh rupees? I mean, I didn't know I'm such a good preacher and an orator, but I mean, I don't trust myself. How did he trust me? As he was thinking this, the industrialist told him, please sit down. Do you think I'm impressed by your speaking? The devotee very honestly said, I don't think so. The industrialist said, what makes you think so? The devotee said, because even I am not impressed by my speaking. So what's the matter about? So the Bengali industrialist said, I will tell you why I gave you a check of 10 lakh, but listen to me carefully. The devotee sat and started listening. The Bengali industrialist started speaking. He said, my father and A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, your Srila Prabhupada, were classmates. And they would play chess together. And the condition was the one who wins the game takes over the tiffin box of the other. So he gets 2 lunch boxes. So if you lose the game, you lose your lunch. And he said, I have to be very honest with you. Your Swami Prabhupada was so good at chess, he didn't let my father eat. My father would lose his lunchbox every day. He would just be empty, and he would be empty stomach. Srila Prabhupada would win the game, knock the king down, and then take the lunchbox. And then as a child, he would tell the father of this industrialist, what are you going to become when you grow up? And he would say, I want to become a doctor, a pilot, or whatever. And what are you going to become, Abhay? And Srila Prabhupada would say, only time will tell. But wherever I am, whatever I do, I want your help. And this went on. After a few moments, a few years, they parted. They went different ways. Later on, after many years, when this industrialist was a grown-up boy, he went to meet Srila Prabhupada when Srila Prabhupada came to Calcutta. Srila Prabhupada looked at him, said, you remind me so closely of a dear friend with whom I played chess, and I would take his lunchbox. And the industrialist said, yes, I am his son. And we still remember you. My father still remembers how good you were at chess. So where's your father these days? Asked Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada had come with his disciples. He was a Jagat Guru now. With ISKCON. So where is your father these days? He said he's not keeping well. So he's tethered to the bed. He can't move. He used to teach Sanskrit for many years, but now he's pretty much on the bed. Prabhupada said, really? Then I must come and meet him if he doesn't come and meet me. Where do you live? Do you still live in that lane on the right and then you have a house on the top? And Prabhupada could actually remember the whole geography of that street. The person smiled and he said, yes, we still live there. Prabhupada said, I am coming tomorrow with my disciples to see your father. And the reason the industrialist's father didn't come, it's not that he was sick. He felt very embarrassed. He felt, my dear friend has become such a great person. How can I approach him now? He's become a guru, he's a sannyasi, he's a swami. I'm very insignificant, I'm a family man. And I have failed in my life. He's so exalted, I shouldn't come. This was the mood why he didn't come. But Prabhupada could recognize, he said, I'm coming tomorrow to see him if he doesn't come to see me. Next day, Prabhupada walked with his disciples up the same lane. And he knew exactly how to go there. And he went there. His father was sleeping on the bed. He said, hey, look who has come. Do you remember me? We played chess together. And the father looked and he said, yes, and I also remember you didn't let me eat. You would win all the games and you would take my lunchbox away every day. Prabhupada looked at him and he said, I heard that you've been a Sanskrit teacher in your life. He said, yes, but now I'm old. Prabhupada said, yes, me too. Can we imagine? Times pass so fast. We were so young, we would run, but now it's impossible for me to walk and for you too. We got old. And they had some Bengali jokes. And then Prabhupada told him, but I want you to help me. I want you to teach Sanskrit to my disciples. Do you remember as a child I told you I have a mission and I want your assistance? He said, yes, I remember. He said, I want you to teach Sanskrit to my disciples. He said, but I'm very weak. Prabhupada said, no, come, I'll take you with me. Come, I'll take you with me. Come, I'll take you with me. He said, no, I can't come. No, come, I'll take you with me. You should teach Sanskrit. Prabhupada had this very nice talk and he left. That evening, this friend of Srila Prabhupada left this world remembering Prabhupada. Little did the family members know that Prabhupada was actually saying, come, I will take you with me. They thought it was a temporary statement of Sanskrit or something, but Prabhupada said repeatedly, come, I'll take you with me. And that evening, remembering Srila Prabhupada, this old man left his body. And the son remembered it. And now he was narrating the whole thing to this devotee and he said, how much your Swami, Srila Prabhupada, has given my father in the form of opening the doors of liberation, this check of 10 lakhs is nothing in comparison. I am giving you this donation for what Srila Prabhupada gave my father. It's not by your preaching. So we must understand how much hardship a pure Vaishnava takes in his life to give Krishna to others. Krishna se tomar, Krishna tomara shakati ache. Ami to kangal, Krishna Krishna boli, dai tab pache pache. The Vaishnava Acharya, Thakur Vaishnava Pada, Avani Rasampada. The lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava is the possession, the wealth of Mother Earth. She keeps it to her heart. Amidst all the atheism and sinful mentality that's going on, a pure Vaishnava who sacrifices his life to give Krishna to others, his lotus feet is the treasure of Mother Earth. So coming back to what we were discussing, Nityananda Prabhu, after blessing Raghunath Das Goswami was ready to take that hardship and run all the way to Jagannath Puri, and he reached Jagannath Puri. How happy he was. He reached Jagannath Puri, but parallelly Govardhan Mazumdar and Hiranya Mazumdar, they wrote a letter to Shivananda Sen. Now Shivananda Sen was heading the Kshetra Mandal Parikrama every year. He would take devotees from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. So Govardhan Mazumdar wrote a letter and asked Shivananda Sen, has my son Raghunath Das enrolled in your parikrama? Has he already registered? He said, no, he's not here. He's not in Puri. But I know for sure he's come. He's missing from our home. So he's come to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He must be there. Just keep an eye. Shivananda Sen said, yes, he's not here. Of course he was not there. Because he took another route. He didn't go in the route of the Vaishnavas on purpose so that he doesn't get caught. When he reached Jagannath Puri, it's described, he went straight to the Gambhira. He knew where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living. He went straight to the Gambhira, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting there with Swarup Damodar Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami fell flat on the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please everyone offer your obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where they go. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. We live the narration. We don't just hear it, we live it. So he offered obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He offered obeisances to Swarup Damodar Goswami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at Raghunath and he said, oh, you finally made it. And Raghunath Das Goswami said, it is certainly by your mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, it's Krishna's mercy. Raghunath Das Goswami said, who is Krishna? I don't know him. But I know Gaurachandra. Anyone who gets the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gets the mercy of Krishna. So I don't know Krishna. Gaurangera madhur lila jar karne praveshila hriday nirmal bhelotar. Narottam Das Thakur says, anyone who associates with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's holy name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's form in front of God, in the form of Gaur Nitai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in the form of Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, serves the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will definitely get Krishna. If someone bypasses Gaur Bhajan, they may or may not get Krishna. But if someone performs Gaur Bhajan, they will certainly get Sri Krishna. Let us loudly call on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name like we did last night. 3, 2, 1, as loud as we can.
Gauranga! Gauranga! Gauranga!
Is there prasadam at the end? There is prasadam at the end.
Gauranga! Gauranga! Gauranga!
Gauranga. So he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's just by your mercies. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at Raghunath Das Goswami and he said, I'm going to tell you something very interesting, but please don't mind. Raghunath Das Goswami was there to hear. He said, yes, what is it, my lord? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, material life is actually like a stool pit. Raghunath Das Goswami said, yes, my lord, I agree. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but I have something for you. Please listen attentively. Material life is like a stool pit, and your father and your uncle are like worms swimming in that stool pit. Raghunath Das Goswami thinks to himself, I walked 12 days, 15 days to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the first minute he tells me that my father is a worm swimming in a stool pit. He looks at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu understood that Raghunath Das Goswami is pretty serious about it. So he smiled. He said, you know, your father and my grandfather are like, you know, they're related. So he's like my grandfather. And the grandson can always joke about the grandfather. Don't mind, it's all just one family. Raghunath Raghunath Das Goswami was listening. He said, yes, my lord, whatever you think is appropriate. Whatever you think, I am all yours. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proclaimed to Swarup Damodar Goswami, now I have 3 Raghunaths. I have Raghunath the doctor, Vaidyaraj. I have Bhatta Raghunath from last night. And now I have Raghunath Das, who from today will be called Swarupera Raghunath. Because he handed over Raghunath Das Goswami to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Now this is also beautiful. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani. And Swarup Damodar Goswami represents Lalita Sakhi, or is the manifestation of Lalita Sakhi. And Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari. So the Manjaris assist the Sakhis and the Gopis in the service of Radharani. So the tradition of Radharani, the Sakhis and the Gopis and then the Manjaris is followed even in Gaur Leela as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, from now, whatever you have to ask, you should ask Swarup Damodar Goswami. He's the most scholarly associate that I have here in Jagannath Puri. He told Swarup Damodar Goswami, you should take very good care of Raghunath. Whatever prasadam he needs, you should feed him sumptuously. He should be happy. He's not eaten in 15 days. He's become very lean and tired. Feed him nice prasadam. Raghunath Das Goswami was ecstatic. He would take darshan of Jagannath. He would chant japa. And he would get a plate of prasadam every day. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And after a week or so, Raghunath Das Goswami started pondering, have I come to Jagannath Puri to serve my superiors or to get served by my superiors? I have left family life and now my superior Swarup Damodar Goswami gets a plate for me and I just finished the prasadam. This is not the way. So as prayashchitta, as atonement, it is described, he gave up eating completely, whatever Swarup Damodar Goswami would get. Day 1, day 2, day 3, Swarup Damodar Goswami would come with a plate and Raghunath Das Goswami would slip somewhere. He was not to be found. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Swarup Damodar Goswami, I see that Raghunath Das is not having prasadam, where is he? And Swarup Damodar Goswami would say, he has accepted renunciation as a virtue in his life. Now he sits outside the Simhadwara gate, the lion gate of Jagannath, and he just waits for prasad that the priests, the pujaris, naturally come and drop. He doesn't wait. He tells me that he doesn't like to be served. He wants to serve. So he's sitting there. And Mahaprabhu was very impressed. He really liked it. He called Raghunath Das Goswami. He embraced him and he said, when someone performs pure bhakti, pure devotional service, then knowledge and renunciation automatically follows. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayityasu Vairagyam Jnanam Yaccha Ahaitukam. With pure devotion as being the mother, the two babies are knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and renunciation. Knowledge as to what to get attached to, and renunciation from what is unfavorable. Raghunath, I am very happy with your renunciation. You are making rapid advancement. But I have a few instructions to give you. He told Raghunath Das Goswami, my instruction for you is that you should not hear worldly talks. You should not speak worldly talks. You should chant the holy name continuously. You should not wear clothes which are very luxurious. You should not eat honored prasadam which is very sumptuous. In your mind, you should constantly serve Radha and Krishna. You should hold Tranadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Salahari voice very close to you and continuously chant the holy name. If you're renounced but you're not absorbed in Krishna, that is external. But renunciation as a byproduct of your service is wonderful. So this is what you should do. And parallelly at that time, Shivananda Sen had wrote a letter back to Govardhan Mazumdar. You had asked me if your son has come here. I saw him yesterday begging outside the Simhadwara gate. Now imagine what a multi-billionaire father would feel. His son is sitting there with a kopin, with a begging bowl outside a temple begging. So out of compassion and distress, paternal distress. Govardhan Mazumdar and Hiranya Mazumdar sent servants, cooks for Raghunath Das Goswami. Personal servants, personal cooks, so that he doesn't have to beg. They thought he was not getting anything and therefore he was begging. They didn't know that he was getting so much that he had to beg. They also sent a lot of money. So Raghunath Das Goswami, when he got the servants and the cooks, he said, okay, servants go back, cooks go back, give me the money. Keep the money here. He took the money, and previously when he met Raghava Pandit at Panihati, he had given a lot of donation to Raghava Pandit. Now similarly he took that money and he gave it to the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, I want to use this money in a specific way. After Ekadashi, when devotees are doing Nirjal, on the day of Dwadashi, to have a big feast and for the fast breaking of Ekadashi, on the day of Dwadashi, I want to use this money for having a big feast. And every fortnight on Dwadashi, he would announce a big feast. And this is what happened. In a few weeks from then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't even find Raghunath Das Goswami at the Simhadwara gate. He asked Swarup Damodar Goswami, where is he? Swarup Damodar Goswami said, my Lord, his renunciation has hit the sky as the limit. It's just increasing day by day. He sits there and he thought that wasn't a good idea. He feels like a prostitute. He's waiting and looking at every pujari. What prasad will I get from him? What prasad will I get from him? What prasad will I get from him? And he came and told me, I am not coming Jagannath Puri to become a prostitute thinking what I'm going to get from people. I'm here to give service, render service. So that Raghunath Das Goswami, who would get so many plates every day, gave it up to sit at the Simhadwara gate, now gave it up to eat at the free prasadam booths, wherever prasadam was freely available. He would have prasadam there whenever available. Then after a few weeks and months, he gave it up to. Mahaprabhu asked him, I can see him in the free prasadam booths. Now where is he? Swarup Damodar Goswami said, my Lord, the prasadam which gets rotten, which even cows don't eat. Raghunath sits there and he washes all that prasad and he sees that not different from Jagannath and he honors it with ecstasy. This is his mood. And he doesn't do it in public, he does it in private. No one knows. I secretly saw this, my Lord. He didn't even tell me. Swarup Damodar Goswami said. So it was not that he was pulling off a popularity trick to get famous in Puri or something. Mahaprabhu was hiding behind a pillar. And he saw Raghunath taking that and cleaning and looking around and no one is watching him. Then he would accept. And he would have ecstatic symptoms. He would say, Jagannath, Jagannath. Mahaprabhu extended his long arms and put it into the hand of Raghunath like Krishna did from the hands of Sudama. And he picked it. And Raghunath said, my Lord, this is not for you. This is for me. This is for this lowly self. I was born in a luxurious, opulent family. I am very fallen, my Lord. Janmaishwarya Shrutashri bhi edamana madappuman. Those who are very aristocratic as far as birth is concerned, very highly learned, very rich and wealthy, and very beautiful. They have high chances of getting bride. My Lord, I come from this affluent family. I am completely polluted. This is my atonement. I am not fit to accept Jagannath Mahaprasad directly. I have to take all this. My Lord, please don't break my heart by taking it. Mahaprabhu said, I have never tasted prasadam this nectarian and ambrosial. It's just beautiful and tasty when it comes from your hand. And then Raghunath Das Goswami's heart would melt. And in this way, 18 years he served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar Goswami personally in Jagannath Puri. Out of the 18 years, he served for 16 years. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 32, Raghunath Das Goswami came to Jagannath Puri. He served till the time Mahaprabhu manifested his final pastimes. Being so happy with Raghunath Das Goswami's mood of surrender, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gifted him his dear Govardhan Srila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received his Govardhan Srila from a sannyasi from Vrindavan by the name Shankar Aranya Saraswati. And this Govardhan Srila had a Gunjamala. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this to Raghunath and he said, and Kaviraj Goswami says, Prabhu kohe ei Srila Krishnero Swarup. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami that this Govardhan is Krishna. Worship him with 8 tulsi leaves and flowers on all 4 sides. Give him a flute and a turban. And offer this Gunjamala, because this Gunjamala represents Radharani. Now you see, the Gunjamala has 3 colors. How many of us have seen Gunjamalas? Oh, very less. Okay. The Gunjamala actually has 3 colors. It has a yellow color bead and it has a red color bead with a black tinge on it. And this represents Radharani. Why? Because that yellow bead represents the golden face of Radharani. And the red bead represents the lips of Radharani. And the black color on it represents the mascara from the eye, which Radharani in her ecstasy, when Krishna plays the flute, applies it on her lip. So the yellow face with the red lips, with the black mascara smeared out of ecstasy. So the Gunja berry mala represents Radharani's ecstatic love. And Govardhan is Krishna. So Raghunath Das Goswami was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, keep them together and worship them every day. Mahaprabhu personally worshipped this Govardhan Shila for 2 years. He would press the Shila to his chest and to his head and to his eye, and he would weep. And he would cry and bathe the Shila with his tears. How can we understand? This is Radharani who is worshipping Krishna by her tears. And that Govardhan Shila was given to Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami worshipped the Shila. At the age of 48, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu completed his manifest pastimes by entering the deity of total Gopinath. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, Raghunath Das Goswami he felt like an orphan. It was a thunderbolt of separation to his heart. The only source of ecstasy for him was Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami was being served. Then very soon Swarup Damodar Goswami left this world. Raghunath Das Goswami, who was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but then started serving Swarup Damodar Goswami, was now heartbroken. Was heartbroken because Swarup Damodar Goswami was his Siksha Guru, was his shelter. Raghunath Das Goswami, in separation from Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar Goswami, decided one thing, that I am going to leave this Jagannath Puri and go to Vrindavan and climb the rocks of Govardhan and jump from the top of Govardhan and commit suicide and give up my life. There's no need to live if I can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I cannot see Swarup Damodar Goswami. I don't want to keep my life here together. Better I die than die every minute in separation. Raghunath Das Goswami became helpless. He was desperate. He didn't know what to do. He was running his way back to Vrindavan crying, Gauranga, Gauranga. But fortunately, he was intercepted by our most beloved Sripad Sanatan Goswami. Sripad Sanatan Goswami has given brilliant works in this world. Brihad Bhagavatamrita is one. His commentaries on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially his commentary to the Damodar Ashtakam, the Digdarshini Tika, is celebrated. But if you ask me, my opinion, what is the best contribution of Sanatan Goswami? It's not his work. It's his decision to save the life of Raghunath Das Goswami. All the books that Raghunath Das Goswami later gave us and his beautiful pastimes in decorating and renovating Radha Kund, all took place because Sanatan Goswami saved the life of Raghunath Das Goswami. He intercepted him and he said, you love Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He said, yes. He said, then you got to live in this world in separation and give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the whole world. It's easy to give up your life. He said, who is better? Dasharath Maharaj dying in separation from Ramchandra in 1 minute, is that better? Or Nanda Baba dying in separation from Krishna but still being alive every minute, is that better? It's easy to die once, but Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda died every minute in separation from Krishna. That mood of burning in separation and service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the ideal principle of our parampara. So you must be in this world and serve Chaitanya in separation. You must assist us. Rupa Goswami joined the scene. He looked at Raghunath Das Goswami and he said, don't you clearly see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave you a Govardhan Shila, which means you should live at Govardhan. And he gave you a Gunjamala. Gunja means Radharani and Radharani means Radha Kund. Yatra Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha. Sarva Gopeshu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. No difference between Radharani and Radha Kund. So therefore you should live in Govardhan and very specifically in Radha Kund. Raghunath Das Goswami said, but what am I going to do there? If I see to the right, to the left, top, bottom, center, I just remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Rupa Goswami said, exactly, you must be at Radha Kund and speak Gaur Lila Katha 3 hours every day. Whatever you have associated for 16 years, personal service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is what you're going to speak. You have to share Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all of us. And with so many other jivas, Raghunath Das Goswami Pad said, yes, now this is possible. He would perform bhajan for 22.5 hours every day. And 1.5 hours for the daily chores. He would remember Krishna with his eyes closed. He would chant much more than 64 rounds every day. But his counter beads would only reach 64 every day. Why? Because he would remember Krishna and cry, so he would forget to move his beads. He would offer 1,000 obeisances to Krishna every day and 2,000 obeisances to the Vaishnavas. That's 3,000 obeisances every day. You don't need Planet Fitness then. You're not going to have any problems. Raghunath Das Goswami lived like that. His sadhana is described to be like strong lines on a rock which would never move. He came to Radha Kund, which were like 2 fields that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had inaugurated. There were 2 fields, the fair field and the dark field. Kari Khet and Gori Khet. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in ecstasy and he named them as Radha Kund and Shama Kund. But still they were not renovated. Raghunath Das Goswami lived there and he would speak Gaur Lila Katha 3 hours every evening. And in that assembly, of all the great Vaishnavas who would sit at his lotus feet and hear Gaur Lila Katha, was our 95-year-old Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. What we have today as the 9-volume Adi Leela, Madhya Leela and Anti Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita are actually the handwritten notes of Kaviraj Goswami from the lectures of Raghunath Das Goswami that he gave at Radha Kund. If not for Sanatan Goswami, we wouldn't have Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Lila Ratnasar is Swarupera Bhandar, Dilo Raghunatera Kanthe. The nectar of Gaur Lila Katha is actually the possession of Swarup Damodar Goswami, but he placed it in the throat of Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, how Kaviraj Goswami wrote it, we will discuss that another day. But as this unfolded, Raghunath Das Goswami lived in Radha Kund. He started renovating Radha Kund, but then he didn't have money. So one Vaishnav who went to Badrinath to take darshan of Badri Vishal Murti, he was going to donate there, and Badri Vishalji came in the dream and he said, I don't need money, I have lots of money. You go to Radha Kund. And there is a wonderful Vaishnav by the name Raghunath Das Goswami. He needs money to renovate Radha Kund and Sham Kund. Give all this donation to him. He will take care. So that gentleman came and gave all the donation, and Raghunath Das Goswami started the renovation work. And then his plan was to make square Radha Kund and square or rectangular Radha Kund and rectangular Sham Kund. But it's interesting how Radha Kund is rectangular, but Shama Kund is oblong, like Krishna. Radha Kund is very straightforward, but Shama Kund is kind of crooked. He wanted to make a rectangular one. But then when he decided to cut 5 trees on the banks of Shama Kund, they came in the dream of Raghunath Das Goswami. They said, we are actually the 5 Pandavas. We are doing bhajan on the banks of Shama Kund. Please don't cut and uproot us. We are here doing bhajan. Please, just go around us. So Raghunath Das Goswami, instead of cutting them down, he went around. And that's how Shama Kund became oblong. He lived there. He performed such beautiful pastimes. He lived on the banks of Radha Kund for 45 years in his life. Our Prayojan Tattva Acharya Raghunath Das Goswami cried and wept for 45 years in separation. It is amazing. He would live there in Radha Kund, chant all day and night, just weeping for Radharani. Who can do that? Who can do that? And when Rupa Goswami composed his Lalit Madhav Natak and his Vidakta Madhav Natak, he gave it to Raghunath Das Goswami and it described Krishna's separation in Vrindavan, Radharani's pangs of separation. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he was already burning in separation. He read this Lalit Madhav Natak and Vidakta Madhav Natak and he was thinking, my God, Radharani is in separation from Krishna. I don't know what has to be done now. Krishna is leaving Vrindavan and they're all in separation from Krishna. Better I just die. I can read this book. So Raghunath Das Goswami, as he was experiencing his pangs of separation much more, Rupa Goswami thought, oh, what have I done? I have just ignited his fire of separation. Let me quickly write a comedy. So therefore he wrote a book called Dan Keli Kaumudi. Dan Keli Kaumudi. So it was a comedy, indeed. So he gave it to Raghunath Das Goswami. He said, I will give you this book, it's very nice, please read this. So Raghunath Das Goswami started reading and it describes Radha and Krishna's tax collection pastimes and love quarrels and how beautifully Krishna would try to speak his part, but it was just crumbling down to pieces. His arguments were so weak and Lalita Sakhi would come and pull off his fake mustache and say, you're not the flower gardener here, you're just Vanamali, I know who you are, you're Vanavihari. You're Sri Krishna, look at the flute sticking out of your waist. If you want to hide and be a representative of the king, at least put up good makeup, please. And Lalita Sakhi would chastise Krishna and Krishna would look down, being completely humble and conquered by his devotee. And Raghunath Das Goswami was reading and he started laughing. And Rupa Goswami Pad said, as you're busy reading, can I get that book back? Because he feared after reading this book, if he reads that book again, then finished. He has to write another comedy. So he asked for the previous book. And Raghunath Das Goswami gave it back. So many beautiful pastimes. Raghunath Das Goswami would chant the holy name all day and night. And he would cry. Sitting under the scorching sun, he would cry. And as he was being burnt by the scorching sun, Raghunath Das Goswami was completely oblivious. And he was sitting on the banks of Radha Kund. And next to him, on the banks of Radha Kund, was a tiger sipping water. And Rupa Goswami saw this. He said, tiger is sipping water next to Raghunath Das Goswami and he's oblivious. He doesn't know it. And then he looks. He sees Krishna standing behind a tree with this arrow. If the tiger jumps on Raghunath, I will shoot him down. Rupa Goswami starts thinking, this Raghunath is doing bhajan and deviating Krishna from his Nitya Leela. What is happening? Krishna is supposed to be frolicking with his Gopas and Gopis and he is busy protecting Raghunath. He came to Raghunath Das Goswami and he said, you tell me something, are you doing bhajan to serve Krishna or to be served from Krishna? Served by Krishna. Raghunath Das Goswami said, I've learned this hard lesson in Jagannath Puri. I am here only to serve. Rupa Goswami Pad said, but do you know there was a lion or tiger sipping water next to you? And because you were oblivious, you didn't make a bhajan kuti for yourself, to protect yourself. It was Krishna standing behind a tree trying to protect you. Raghunath Das Goswami said, is it true? I was just chanting, I didn't realize. Rupa Goswami Pad said, you got to make a bhajan kuti for yourself. Raghunath Das Goswami said, yes, okay. Very soon after that, again he's chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the scorching sun continued to play his role. And Raghunath Das Goswami is chanting japa. And now this time Sanatana Goswami is coming. And as he comes, he looks at Raghunath. He's scorching in the heat and suddenly comes Srimati Radharani who takes her cloth from the sari and she stands protecting Raghunath with the shelter and she herself is perspiring because of the heat of the sun and she is protecting. Sanatana Goswami thought, this is the limit. You're living in Vrindavan in Radhakund. This is Radharani's bathing ghat and you take service from her. What is this? He went to Raghunath Das Goswami. He said, why can't you make a bhajan kuti for yourself? No frame of reference. Wow, why, what, when? Sanatana Goswami Pad said, You tell me, what is a maidservant of Srimati Radharani supposed to do? Give service, render service, or take service? He said, render service. He said, do you know you were chanting Hare Krishna, and because of the scorching sunlight, it was Radharani who was protecting you with that cloth. And she was sweating and you were busy chanting under her shelter. Is this the tenet of bhakti? Raghunath Das Goswami said, Rupa Goswami chastised me, now you are chastising me. I didn't see Krishna, I didn't see Radharani. Sanatan Goswami said, we said, so you must make a bhajan kuti. So he finally made a bhajan kuti to protect himself. But then after making a bhajan kuti, he fell ill. So the doctor was called. He said, Raghunath, the Vaidyaraj, by Nadi Shastra, they touch the pulse and they tell you the Kapha Pitta Vayu balance. Said, what's wrong with him? Oh, they overeating. And here was Raghunath Das Goswami once in 3 days drinking 1/3 a leaf cup of buttermilk. And the doctor said overeating. And he didn't stop there. He said overeating of sweet rice. I said, sweet rice? Impossible. Raghunath Das Goswami didn't have sweet rice even in Jagannath Puri. What to speak of Radha Kund? They asked Raghunath Das Goswami, is it true? Because in that assembly was Vithalacharya, the son of Vallabhacharya, Sripad Vallabhacharya. Such a Sikh Vaishnava, exalted Vaishnava. The Shama Sundara Shikhanda Shekhar verses by Vithalacharya. So he called the Vaidyaraj and he started asking Raghunath Das Goswami, is it true? Is the doctor speaking the truth that you had sweet rice? Raghunath Das Goswami said, believe it or not, yes, it's true. It was overeating. He said, but how? Raghunath Das Goswami said, when I was chanting Hare Krishna in my original form as Rati Manjari, I cooked sweet rice for Radha and Krishna in their pastimes. And it was so tasty. Radharani ate to her satisfaction and overfed me her prasad. And externally I was chanting, but as Rati Manjari, I was savoring and tasting the nectar of Radharani's Mahaprasad as sweet rice. So the Vaidyaraj is speaking is true. So Raghunath Das Goswami was so exalted. And he was so attached to Radharani. Now we know Radharani and Chandravali are rivals. And Chandravali comes from a place called Sakhistali. So Raghunath Das Goswami had a personal assistant who would help him when Raghunath Das Goswami got old. So one day he got some buttermilk. And Raghunath Das Goswami saw the leaf cup, and the leaf cup was surprisingly bigger in size. So he said, where did you get this leaf cup from? So he said, I got it from Sakhistali. When Raghunath Das Goswami heard that the butter is being held by a leaf cup, which comes from, made out of leaves, which came from a tree in the village called Sakhistali, which belongs to Chandravali, he gave it up. He said, we have nothing to do with her. I better die in Radhakund than drink buttermilk in the leaf cup of Chandravali. He said, what will Radharani think? I am from her camp and I am taking service from the other camp. Impossible. So this was his high-class mood. Raghunath Das Goswami bathed in Radhakund every day and did parikrama. And in this way he spent 45 years of his life crying and weeping in Radhakund. It is described, Krishna Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya, Prema Prayojan. That our relationship is with Krishna. And we act on that relationship by performing bhakti. And the perfection of that bhakti is to cry in ecstatic love. And this is all that Raghunath Das Goswami did in his life. He gave us works like Vilapa Kusumanjali and Dan Keli Chintamani and Manaha Shiksha. Such beautiful books. Stabhavali. Such amazing literature. And in this way, he left his body in Radhakund. So he is often considered and proclaimed significantly as the Prayojan Tattva Acharya. By praying to Raghunath Das Goswami that may a drop of divine ecstatic love from the oceanic eruption of his heart come in the courtyard of our heart. By praying to him, we will learn to cry while chanting the holy name. Srila Prabhupada said when we chant Hare Krishna, we should cry like the baby cries for the mother. But we cry. It's 9 o'clock, 13 rounds to go. Krishna, Just 3 rounds done, 13 more to go. Hare Krishna. But this is not the tears. We need the tears, Krishna. There was some echo there. Some echo effect in the understanding of the joke.
Realization.
Yeah. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he lived his life chanting and crying, chanting and crying and chanting and crying. Last but not the least, as we end, this narration, I want to chant a prayer that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami wrote. We can have a call and response, and then we will wrap up the class. Raghunath Das Goswami wrote to Srimati Radharani. Please repeat. Tavaivasmi, tavaivasmi,
Tavaivasmi, tavaivasmi,
na jivami tvaya vina,
na jivami tvaya vina,
iti vijnaya devi tvam,
iti vijnaya devi tvam,
nayamam charanantikam.
nayamam charanantikam.
Very simple and sweet. He wrote to Radharani, Radharani, tava eva asmi na jivami tvaya vina. I belong to you alone, I belong to you alone, I cannot live without you. Why? Because this is Rati Manjari, an eternal maidservant speaking to Radharani. She got separated once while coming down, and then in this world got separated again. Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina. Oh Radharani, I belong to you, I belong to you. There is no other reality, I cannot live without you. Iti vijnaya devi tvam. Oh Devi, understanding this fact, nayamam charanantikam. Please place your lotus feet in my heart. There is nothing else that I want. I just want your service. I want to be reinstated in the loving transcendental service. There is nothing higher that I aspire for. Raghunath Das Goswami has also composed pranam mantras for Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. With that, we will take when we discuss about the other acharyas. At the end of this, let us all bow down and pray to Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami for being such an exemplary principal, role model example for us in the Gaudiya Siddhanta as to how someone being amidst wealth could treat it and flush it down without looking back. He was not at all touched or entangled materially. Amidst so much wealth and opposition, anything that took him away from Krishna, he rejected. And how incessantly he served the Vaishnavas and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as a result, how he cried in separation. The impressions that we gain as a child is what we carry all our life. So let us serve the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas in our life are like exit doors when the building catches fire. When the building catches fire, we have the exit doors to leave. So this material world is like an apartment, like a building which has caught fire. And Vaishnavas are like exit doors. And when we offend and criticize them, we are locking ourselves in a burning building by locking these exit doors. Vaishnava aparad, Nam aparad are the biggest hurdles which stop us. They are like thieves which rob our wealth on the highway of spiritual life. Let us value each other's presence. Let us serve each other in a mode of humility and follow in the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami. May this narration give pleasure, satisfaction and fulfillment to the hearts and ears of the listeners. May this narration cleanse our heart. May it take our consciousness closer to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With this, I end tonight's narration, only to see you tomorrow with another new story of another new Vaishnava Acharya.
Haribo!